There is just a question here in the Spotify if we're going to change the Carl Weathers Ass Off Award since he passed away. R.I.P. Carl Weathers, the great Carl Weathers. We didn't record last week when it happened, and this will come out later, but this is the first chance we've been on mic to talk about Carl Weathers. And in short, no, we are not going to change the name of the award.
No. I actually think this is a great idea. Also, let's change JFK back to Idlewild Airport.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
JFK is dead, guys. So, like, we can't name the airport after someone who's dead. Washington, D.C., Reagan Airport. No, we got to change it to something else now.
Bob Hope. Is Bob Hope dead?
Bob Hope's dead, man. That's got to change
so
back
Burbank
to
back.
Santa Ana, or is it Burbank? Which one is it?
I think they actually call it the Hollywood International Airport or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, like, I'm all for this. By the way, Washington State and Washington, D.C., absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Lincoln, Nebraska, get the fuck out of here with that name.
Mm-hmm.
Disrespectful. Those guys are all dead. We need to repeal and change them back to whatever they were called before.
West Virginia and Virginia? I'm assuming named after, like, Virginia Woolf or somebody? You know?
Yes.
Exactly what was named
Too
after.
bad that came up in the second year at San Diego State. Zach never made it to that class.
I did actually. I didn't make it to any class in the first year, by the way, but that's neither here nor there.
I want to ask this because I know we have a modest fan base. It's not millions of people like, some other huge podcast, but it's also not like we have 5 listeners. But I do feel like we get a lot of examples of pure Babadook behavior.
Yeah.
I feel like our fan base, maybe these are our Babadooks are very loud and so very prominent, but I feel like it leans very Babadooky sometimes.
Babadooky is a good phrase for it, right? Or is it just because this podcast is near and dear to our heart, right? It's a labor of love, but it is love. Mm-hmm. Is it just that we take this more to heart of like, how do you not understand what we're doing? I don't want to do the Amin thing where I'm just shitting on our listeners. Like, I don't necessarily want to do that here.
I'm Babadooking on our listeners, first of all.
Yes, you are.
But a question like that, I don't think that's specific to our show. And when someone says, are you going to rename something that you've named after someone because that someone has passed away? I wonder when they walk around in life, I try to be funny there by, talk about JFK and Washington State, whatever. But it's like, dog, you never fucking thought about that for 5 fucking seconds? That things are named after people who are fucking not with us anymore? That never fucking crossed your mind. You said, oh my God, fucking Carl Weathers passed away. What are they going to do with that award name? Mm-hmm. Or was he just looking for conversation, maybe?
Maybe just opening the door to the Carl Weathers conversation, right? Like, hey, I want to get them to talk about Carl Weathers, which...
You know what? Let's talk about Carl Weathers.
I honestly don't even know what to say in response to everything because we are clearly so moved by the brief appearances that Carl has had with this show, right? Like, he's so impactful for us that we did name the Acting Your Ass Off award after him, even though we've had Nick Cage 16 times, right? Like, he's on twice and was so fucking good. We're like, that is the example and the pinnacle of acting for our show. So we're naming it after him. And when we found out, I don't know, I shared it to a couple of group chats. I think I shared it to our chat. And I was expecting one of you to be like, no, that's a hoax. It didn't seem real to me.
First of all, he's only been on twice. On his second appearance, I went back and listened to both pods. I listened to Action Jackson, I listened to Rocky IV. I listened to Action Jackson, and it's his first appearance, and it's so obvious. We are all in on Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
We are all in on this performance, on this actor, etc. He comes back a second time, does it again, and then the trivia kind of raises the stakes on how great he is. And both of those episodes, to me, having listened back at them, and I listened to a lot of the archival ones over the last few months, whatever. Those are 2 of our best episodes we've ever done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 of the best movies, 2 of the best episodes, and he's perfect in both.
Yes.
I think those episodes are so good because he brings the excitement out of us, right? Mm-hmm. He elicits that reaction, which is the reason we do the podcast in the first place. We like this shit. We find pleasure in it. We find joy in it, right?
Well, most of the time.
During the sun. Yeah. It's out. It's out. For years, Amin and I were just texting each other about bad movies we were watching in hotel rooms. Not together. That's weird. But, sometimes.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's not that weird.
We love this shit. And then you get someone like him who in 2 fucking episodes is so good and tricked a real life doctor into thinking something had gone wrong on set. Those episodes are great because he's great.
If you ask me, hey, why did you guys name the Ass Off Award after Carl Weathers? I say, well, that's easy. It's because of what you just described, the scene where Drago kills him and he twitches so convincingly that the on-set doctor actually thinks Carl Weathers, not Apollo Creed, catastrophe has struck. I went back and listened to the episode. It's not just that. There's like multiple incidents during that movie where we're like, Jesus Christ. When he's talking to Rocky, trying to talk him into, I should fight this Russian guy. Yeah. And the robot comes in, and Carl Weathers did not know that there was going to be a robot in the scene. And he looks at it and he kind of just gives it a double take and then goes on with his line, does not miss a beat.
It
was so the perfect reaction. It's so ass off.
This is going to sound corny as hell, but I genuinely mean it this way. It feels like a member of the Cinephobe family is gone.
Dude, I said this on Levitard the other day. I'll be driving and then I'll think about it again. Like, fuck, man, Carl Weathers passed away. And this is the weird part of it for me. Carl Weathers, to me, signifies strength and power and virility, right? Mm-hmm. Class and intelligence and everything,
Professionalism,
right?
Yes.
Professionalism, absolutely. You sent that tweet from the Hollywood Reporter, I believe, says Carl Weathers has passed away. And my first instinct was like, nah. And then I looked at it, I was like, it's a Hollywood Reporter, man. Like, that's not like Adam Snell 25 or whatever, one of those weird accounts. But then the other thing I thought was, he passed away peaceful in his sleep. And I was like, I mean, it wasn't like an explosion or like, on the one hand, as a human, I'm like, oh, thank God he passed away peacefully in his sleep. That's how we all want to go, right? But on the other hand, I'm like, man, that's Carl Weathers, man. You can't just take him out in his sleep.
It doesn't seem befitting of it, right?
He didn't save a family from a train track
Yeah.
at the last second, or like Spider-Man holding the bridge together. He went quietly in his sleep.
Yeah.
He deserved a nice, peaceful exit, and that's what he got. But yeah, I mean, the cross-generational appeal is really what does it. Because it's not like this dude is oversaturated in the market. It's not like Action Jackson happened and then he made 7 more movies.
There's a reason why he hasn't been on Cinephobe a lot. We talked about this actually during Rocky Fours. He doesn't make bad movies.
He doesn't qualify. Like, he's too good for this shit. He makes an Adam Sandler movie watchable. Mm-hmm. He's so good in Happy Gilmore. And I do think it's less Sandler than normal, but still it's a Sandler movie and he's incredible in it. He's got just an all-time recurring cameo as a parody version of himself in Arrested Development. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He shows up in The Mandalorian.
Is a completely different gear than he'd done in his whole life.
Right.
So Pablo told me this. Get this. The idea of Carl Weathers being like borderline homeless and destitute. That was Carl Weathers' idea.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be just originally, like Carl Weathers is my acting coach. And Carl Weathers said, you know what would be funny? My life is in shambles. Mm-hmm. Like I'm living like hand to mouth.
He's doing these airline ticket scams and he's making stews out of bones that are left over on plates.
Genius.
It's so fucking funny. I started rewatching it recently before his death. It was one of those things where I was putting it on at night and kind of falling asleep. And I was like, no, I got to actually rewatch this because he's so good. For decades, I've been saying you got to stew go it because of him, right? Because he delivers that perfectly.
Whoa, don't get rid of that.
Yeah.
A lot of meat on that bone.
Yeah. Throw that in a pot, potatoes, onions. Baby, you got a stew going.
It's delivered perfectly. It's hilarious. But I think, again, much like Rocky IV, learning the trivia made that performance even more powerful for me. It blew me away to find that out that it was his idea to play it like that.
It's funny too because like Tobias, played by David Cross, that's his take on the character. Like Tobias wasn't supposed to be that.
Oh hell no!
The first time that they shot a scene, or maybe the rehearsal, Jason Bateman went to the director with David Cross being Tobias. He's like, "Are you sure that's how you want it?" That wasn't the plan for those two to combine. Like I think comedically, those two are geniuses.
Yeah.
Right? To just understand the instinct of what those characters can be. And then every time they team up in a scene, it's brilliant. It's absolute brilliance. It sucks, man. R.I.P. to one of the greatest. One of the absolute icons.
And I don't think we can honor him enough on this podcast. I think we should do a CT5 Carl Weathers. I think we should do a Rewatchington. I think we should do everything that we can to honor Carl Weathers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm legitimately sad. Mm-hmm. My feelings are hurt.
Way more than Tony Burton.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't on a plane, so he didn't cry, but
Tony Burton, there was a somber sadness about Tony Burton. This one is kind of gut-wrenching. I feel like someone just reached into my chest and grabbed my heart.
I didn't know he was sick or ill or, I mean, he was what, 76 when he
76?
died? Which is, I mean, that's old, but not that old, right?
That's what was so surprising. And he looked, I know that's not much because it's like I'm going off of The Mandalorian and a Gronk commercial, but he looked like Carl Weathers, man. That dude looks amazing.
Yeah. Looked amazing. Yeah. Rest in power to our favorites.